Welcome to another week of chair yoga. Welcome to our Friday yogis, our encore ladies, and all of our YWCA Hunter members. So it's wonderful to have you joining me again from my home. So great to have you all back again. Hope you've all had a wonderful time out in some of the sunshine, the wonderful weather we've been having, and taking advantage of that and getting lots and lots of vitamin D. So let's get into it. Today's practice. We'll start off with our breathing as normal, and then just doing just a bit of warming up, and then we'll be doing most of our poses today standing and using our chair as a prop. But to start with, like every week, let's just get into our seated mountain pose and getting our alignment all nice and correct. So our knees and feet, our feet are flat on the ground, making sure they're sort of nice and comfortable on the ground. And if you do need a cushion or a towel or something rolled up, just to make sure your feet are nice and firmly flat on the ground. Your knees are over the ankles, really nice and sturdy, sitting bones in a chair, engaging our core, so just a slight belly button to the spine, relaxing those shoulders down. Just in crown of our head up to the ceiling, and just chin just slightly in towards the chest, but not too far in. So just relaxing and just becoming aware of our natural breath, and trying to just coming back to our knees just being 2 fists apart. So just coming back to our natural breath and just becoming aware of our breath, just feeling it on the inhale and on the exhale. Just becoming aware and allowing our bodies to slow down and relax into this beautiful seated mountain pose. Just slowing down and focusing on that breath, allowing you just to sink and becoming sturdier in that chair. And focus on that breath, stopping all those wandering thoughts. Just allowing you to spend some time on your self-care and being non-judgmental for doing that. So just extending that breath on each inhale and each exhale. Slowing down our breath and our heart. And trying to breathe in through the nostril and out through the nostril. Really focusing on relaxing that body and allowing it to be still. And now bringing that breath back to your natural breath. Now we'll just breathe our arms up to shoulder height and then down on the exhale. Inhaling to shoulder height, exhaling down to our thighs. One more time, in and then exhale. And you like to bring your chin to your chest on the inhale and chin up to the ceiling. Just slow, steady movements. Saying yes to all the wonderful things in our life. And one more. And then when you're ready, bringing your chin over to your right shoulder. And on the exhale, over to the left. Inhale, over to the right. Exhale, over to the left. And one more. Over to the right. Exhaling, over to the left. And coming back to our neutral spine. And now our shoulders, we'll bring them up to our ears on the inhale, and a big exhale down. Inhale. One more. And now some gentle shoulder rolls. And in the opposite direction. Now if you bring your hands into fists, and we're rotating them in one direction, and then in the opposite direction. And now if you just spread the hands into starfish, then fists, starfish, fists, starfish, and fists. And then the thumb to your pinky, then to your ring finger, then to your middle, then to your pointer, and then back again. Just giving those hands, loosening those hands up a bit. Just rotating those wrists if you need to do any more, or those shoulders. Now coming back to our natural breath again. Now bringing out, might need to move it forward in your seat if you're having a bit of difficulty. Just lifting one knee at a time. Just trying to warm up our hips. And then rotating our, pointing out, flexing our toes, rotating those ankles. Remembering to breathe. Don't forget about that breath. Force of life, that breath. And then our opposite leg. Point and flex. And then rotating. Just trying to loosen up all those creaky bits. And if you need to, rotating that hip joints in the opposite direction. And then our opposite leg. Just another one for good measure. Now realigning us back onto the seat. Bringing our hands down, getting back into our seated mountain pose, our belly button to our spine, relaxing those shoulders down our back, hands down, and bringing our palms facing forward. On the inhale, bringing arms up overhead, and then on the exhale, just swish down. We'll do a couple more of those. So inhale, arms up overhead, and on the exhale, just loosening up that body. And then one more. Inhale and exhale. Move whichever way feels good for you. Trying to loosen and awaken all of all muscles and all the joints, and roll the shoulders, and whatever you feel you need to, just some movement. Okay, we'll just take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. If you'd like to now stand up, and we're going to use, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to use our seat as a prop. So to start with, we'll just stand behind into our standing mountain pose. Feet should be hip width apart, really firmly onto the ground, so all points of the feet onto the ground. Engaging that core, relaxing those shoulders, crown of the head to the ceiling, and then just hanging on to the back of the chair. If you need to, if you don't require that, just have them down by your sides. So really strong legs, engaging that core. And on the inhale, we're going to come up onto our toes, really strong legs. And then on the exhale, onto our heels. Inhale, up onto our toes. Exhale, to our heels. One more time, inhale, and then exhale. Now coming back to our mountain pose, re-engaging that core. Crown of the head to the ceiling. Now keeping our hands on the chair and keeping our elbows as close to our bodies as possible. On the inhale, bring that chest out. On the exhale, fold forward over the chair. Inhaling, we're coming up and keeping that core engaged. Exhale, bending at the elbows, but keeping them as close to the body as possible. Inhale, exhale, inhale. So we're just going to combine a couple of those movements. So on the inhale, we'll come up onto our toes. Exhale, onto our heels. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and toes down. So we'll do that a couple more times. So inhale onto our toes. Exhale, toes up and onto our heels. Inhale, exhale, inhale, coming up, exhale, toes down. So inhale, exhale, inhale, chest up, exhale, down, inhale, up, exhale, down. So now coming back to our mountain pose and really realigning that body, ensuring that our feet are firmly planted on the ground, engaging that core, crown of the head to the ceiling. And we're going to step back into our downward dog. So just slowly taking some steps back, bending the knees slightly if you need to, really keeping that, pushing the butt back towards away from the chair, keeping your back nice and flat, really giving you a beautiful stretch under the arms and in the hammies. If you can straighten your legs, great. Otherwise, that's fine. Just bend them as much as you might need to. It's really about engaging the core, keeping the back nice and flat, and the head or the ears should be in line with your upper arms. Just stretching, taking a few breaths here. Sinking into this on the exhale. Then on the inhale, coming up, and exhale, walking forward. And we'll step our right foot back, and imagine that your feet or your legs are railway tracks, so they should be parallel and facing. The back foot should be a bit of a 45-degree angle. Now we're going to bend into our forward leg, ensure that that knee remains above the ankle, and you should be able to see your big toe. Keeping that back leg as straight as possible, keeping that core nice and engaged. And if this is where it's fine for you, just stay here. If you'd like to bring up one arm, wonderful. And then if you can, if it is possible, bring up both arms. That is wonderful. And we keep our hips facing forward, so our hips are aligned in a straight line. And this is our warrior one. Dropping those shoulders down your back. If it's too much on your arms, even on your hips is fine, or hanging onto that chair. Whatever is comfortable and feels right for you. Remember, we don't want any pain or discomfort at any stage. And if you do feel any, remember to stop, go back to standing mountain, or go back to seated mountain. So hanging onto the chair. A couple of more breaths here. Really grounding down into the outer edges of both feet, especially that back foot. Keeping those hips facing forward. And then when you're ready, we'll step out that back foot forward. Now we're going to do it with our other leg. So our left leg this time. Again, feet are hip width apart. Try and keep them nice and parallel. Stepping that left leg back and keeping that railway track, that back foot on a bit of a 45-degree angle, really pressing down into the outer edge, bending into that forward leg, keeping the knee above the ankle, and you should be able to see your big toe, keeping our hips facing forward, and hanging onto the chair if that's what's right for you today. If you are able to, lifting up one arm or lifting up both arms. And just sinking into this, really pushing into the ground, really strong legs, our warrior one pose, dropping our shoulders down. If you need to, hands on the hips, or on the chair, whatever is right for you today. Remember, no pain. And taking a couple more breaths here. Really strong pose, keeping our core engaged, trying to push that left hip forward, the right one back, and trying to keep those hips nice and straight and in line and facing forward. One more breath, and then we're stepping forward. We'll just take a moment here, just in standing mountain, hanging onto the chair if that's what you need to. Crown of the head to the ceiling. Couple of nice big inhales and exhales. Now we'll go back to our right leg and we will do our warrior two pose. So standing again facing our chair, stepping back, keeping our hips parallel, our feet parallel with railway tracks. And this time what we do is just bringing our toes out on a 90-degree angle, and our heel is in line with the actual arch of the back foot. pressing down into the outer edge of that back foot and sinking into that forward leg. But again, keeping that knee over the ankle, and you should still be able to see your big toe. So don't allow that knee to fall forward, bringing it back. This time our hips are facing to the side or out this to the front. Hanging onto the chair if you need to, and onto your hip if that is what's comfortable for you or what's right for you today. And if you can do, bringing both arms out, dropping our shoulders down and looking over that forward middle finger. Really strong, our warrior two pose. Taking a couple of breaths here, and on the exhale, just sinking into this pose a little bit deeper. Just try and make sure your shoulders are staying over your hips, you're not moving forward. Our warrior two. Remember, if you need to, hanging onto the chair, hand on your hip, whatever is right for you today. One more breath. When we're ready, bringing our feet together, and we do the opposite leg. So this time, remember, we're doing our left leg is going back, ensuring that our front heel is in alignment with our back foot, the arch in the back of our foot. Really pressing down on the outer edge of that back foot. Might need to adjust the chair. Knees over the ankle, and ensuring the knees coming back and you can still see your big toe. If you're looking down, hips facing forward, hanging onto that chair with that forward hand. If you need to, hand on your hip. And if it's available to you, bringing your arms up to shoulder height, dropping those shoulders down, and then looking over the front finger. Remember, keeping the shoulders over our hips, not falling forward. So really coming back and really pushing that front knee out so you can see that big toe. Keeping that core nice and engaged. And sinking into this pose. On that exhale. So one more breath. And when you're ready, just heel and toe back. So just coming back, just allowing the body, just take a moment just to adjust after those strong warrior one and warrior two poses. Into our standing mountain. We're now going to bring that all together. So a couple of the heel and toe from the beginning into our arms, and then our warrior one and warrior two, and create a bit of a flow. So we'll start with standing our mountain pose behind our chair, hanging onto the back of the chair, making sure those feet are nice and grounded. It's just a micro bend in the knees, keeping our core nice and engaged, our shoulders back, crown of the head to the ceiling, and our chin slightly in. So on the inhale, we're coming up. On the exhale, onto our heels. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, down. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, toes down. On the inhale, we're going to step back. into our warrior one. And if you can, bring both arms up. And then on the exhale, just move your feet slightly. We'll come into our warrior two. Just need to adjust the feet. And then coming up, heel and toe together. And we'll do that on the opposite side. So, aligning the body, keeping that core nice and engaged. So on the inhale, we're up on our toes. The exhale, onto our heels. Inhale, chin up. Exhale, chest down to chair. Inhale, up. Exhale, toes down. Stepping back with our left leg. Inhale, arms up. Taking one or two breaths here. And then on the exhale, we adjust the feet and come into our warrior two, or hanging on if that's what you need. And then we're coming up, heel and toe together. And now we'll just do a downward dog. Remembering keeping those knees bent if you need to. Most important thing is trying to keep your back nice and flat. Keeping the ears by the upper arms. Just gazing down onto the ground. Pushing back. And really nice stretch under the arms. The whole side body. And the beautiful stretch into the hamstrings. And if you can really push out with your sitting bones and just sink into this for a couple of breaths. On the next inhale, just walking forward. We're just going to do our next pose is our tree pose for some bit of balance. So remember, hanging onto the chair, if that's what you need to do. I'll give you a couple of options if you can let go of the chair. So with tree pose, really start with our right foot, grounding down as if you've got roots growing out the bottom of your foot into the ground. Really keeping that right leg nice and strong. Really engaging all the muscles, engaging our core. Now, bringing the other foot or the heel can just sit just above the ankle. And this might be where you come today, and that is quite okay. If you'd like to maybe bring your foot just on your calf, please try and keep it away from your knee and making sure that that knee is pointing out, not to the front. And even if you wanted to, bringing the foot above the knee. And if you can, bring either out to the side, that's okay, or bringing it up above overhead, gauging that core. Oops, whoa, bit wobbly today. Every day is different. And this is our tree pose. You might be here, and that's quite okay as well, or hands down, whatever is right for you, or here. Just take a couple of breaths, really keeping that grounded right leg nice and strong, dropping those shoulders, crown of the head to the ceiling, engaging that core. On the exhale, bringing our hands down. Bring the leg forward and down. Just taking a moment before we do the opposite leg. So we're coming over to the opposite leg now. So with our left leg, really grounding it down, pretending that there's roots coming out the bottom of your foot or the sole of your feet. Really engaging all those muscles in the leg, engaging that core, relaxing those shoulders. So whatever you did on the first side, let's try and do that on this side as well. So the foot could be, or the heel could be just above the ankle, could be on the shin, hand on hip or hand out, whatever suits you today, or it could be above the knee. Remember, it's gauging all those muscles. This is a really strong stand, fabulous for our balance. Coming to whatever is right for you today. And just taking a couple of breaths here. And just try. Best way is to find a point that you just focus on. Stop the wobbles. But it's normal. Some days we're wobblier than other days. Okay. Coming back down, back to our mountain. We're actually going to come back to our seat in mountain. And just take a few moments. Remember, with our alignment, feet firmly on the ground, fists between our knees, core engaged, relaxing shoulders, crown of the head to the ceiling. Just taking a few moments after all those strong poses. Just allowing our body to adjust. Bringing our hands down to our sides, palms facing forward. On the inhale, and then on the exhale, down into prayer. Do that a couple of more times. Inhale and exhale. One more time. And exhale. Now we might bring our seated pigeon, so we can either do, if this is available to you today, that's wonderful. It's bringing the ankle above the knee. If it could be, might just be on just sitting above the other ankle, and that's okay as well. So whatever is right for you today. And we're just pushing that knee down and inhaling, extending the crown of the head, and exhaling, just folding over that. And then remembering on the exhale, taking a couple of breaths here. On the exhale, remembering to just sink into this a bit deeper. One more breath. And inhale, coming up. Exhale, releasing that pose. We'll do it on the opposite leg. Remembering ankle above the knee, or just over the other ankle. Crown of the head extending on the inhale, and exhale, just leaning forward. And just sinking deeper into this pose on every exhale. One more breath. On the inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming out of that pose. Now we'll just get ready for our Savasana or a relaxation. Just find a really nice comfortable pose in your seated mountain, just making sure those sitting bones are nice and sturdy. Relax. Hands can be either on your thigh or by your side, palms up or down, whatever is comfortable for you today. So again, allow your whole body to relax. Just taking some slow, deep breaths. In through your nose and slower on the exhale. Just bringing that awareness back to your breath and back to the rhythm of your breathing. Don't change your breath at all. Just observe it and become aware of how you are breathing. Now we're going to allow your toes, your heels and your ankles to just relax. Allow your legs to soften, front and back. Relax your lower back, your rib cage and your belly. Relax your chest, your shoulders and your arms. All soft, all relaxed. Notice your neck and your throat and your jaw, and just invite a softness to these areas. Relax all those tiny muscles in your face and just smooth out the forehead. Feel as though your whole body's sinking and relaxing deeper. And allow yourself a few moments just to absorb the wonderful thing you just allowed your body to do. And now allow it to just relax. And if you're hearing any sounds, that's okay. But just bring your awareness back to your breath. And when you're ready, just bring back some gentle movement. Wriggle your toes and your fingers. Whatever feels right for you. Just coming back. So our hands down by our side, palm facing forward. Inhaling, arms overhead. On the exhale, hands to prayer to our heart center. From my heart to yours, Namaste.